People care so much more about your personal life than they do your work. And if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you. Deliver something for a passionate group of people.
Yes.
As someone who is so deeply passionate myself, I was so excited about that. I would so much rather have that than.
But I was like just tracking him down, and then I finally got to read the script, and the script was a thriller. So that was a little confusing to me because he's like such a fun.
Welcome back to Popam. Today, buckle in, because Blake Lively's business venture just suffered a blow that could reshape her brand. Multiple reports confirm that Target has quietly removed her Betty Buzz mixers from store shelves. And while no official announcement has been made, industry insiders say the decision is tied to an ongoing lawsuit claiming that Lively's team misrepresented important details about the product line. This legal battle has been simmering for months, but now it's spilling into the open in the worst possible way through lost retail partnerships. And let's be clear, when a retail powerhouse like Target decides to walk away, it's more than a setback. It's a full-scale credibility crisis. Legal specialists warn that if allegations of misleading marketing gain momentum in court, the damage won't stop at sales. It could dismantle Lively's carefully curated image as a trustworthy entrepreneur. So far, Lively has stayed silent publicly, but sources suggest her team is scrambling to keep the fallout under control. Meanwhile, Target's quiet but decisive exit looks strategic. The company appears to be distancing itself before the legal firestorm intensifies, leaving Betty Buzz without its marquee distributor. That matters, because without Target's national visibility, the brand instantly loses both reach and legitimacy, two things celebrity-backed products depend on far more than price tags. Reactions have been split down the middle. Loyal fans argue that Lively is the latest celebrity caught in an unfair spotlight, while critics see this as proof that star-driven ventures often cut corners. Online, the debate is loud and unforgiving. Memes, commentary, and speculation are spreading faster than the facts, and the public mood doesn't lean in her favor. The bigger question is whether Betty Buzz can recover. Losing one retail giant is bad. If others follow, the fallout could be catastrophic. And this storm doesn't exist in isolation. Justin Baldoni, once rumored to collaborate with Lively, is also entangled in his own legal drama. While the two cases are unrelated, overlapping headlines have created a media frenzy. PR experts warn that by sheer association, Betty Buzz risks being dragged deeper into controversy. Insiders already describe the moment as make or break for Lively's venture because once public trust shifts, rebuilding it can be nearly impossible. Some analysts argue that Lively has one potential lifeline, facing the controversy head-on. That could mean issuing a bold, transparent statement, accepting responsibility where needed, and possibly even rebranding the product entirely. Others, however, believe the damage is already cemented. In a saturated beverage market full of trendy challengers, brands weighed down by scandal rarely get second chances. Even if she wins in court, the stain on Betty Buzz may not fade easily. What complicates matters further is the battle of fan bases. Lively's supporters, who admire her career and business savvy, find it hard to believe she would deliberately mislead customers. Baldoni's backers, however, see him as the more authentic figure, which makes his claims of manipulation resonate strongly. Every rumor, leak, and court filing is dissected in real time online, fueling a narrative war between Team Lively and Team Baldoni. And then comes the wildcard, Disney. In a twist no one expected, the entertainment giant has reportedly thrown its weight behind Baldoni. This isn't just about supporting his film It Ends With Us, it signals institutional trust in him as a figure worth protecting. With Disney's legal and financial backing, Baldoni is shielded from negative press and armed with resources to pursue his claims, including top forensic experts to evaluate alleged tampered documents. If that evidence holds up, the consequences could ripple across the industry. For Lively, the stakes couldn't be higher. Losing Target while facing a credibility crisis is difficult enough, but watching her rival gain Disney's support puts her on a steep uphill climb. For Baldoni, the moment is equally pivotal. If his evidence delivers, he'll be positioned as a champion of fairness in Hollywood. If not, he risks being swept into the same storm of skepticism. For Betty Buzz, however, this may be a fight for survival. One wrong move and the brand could join the long list of celebrity-backed projects that collapsed under the weight of scandal. As both camps prepare their next moves, the question lingers: will Lively salvage her brand with transparency, or watch it fade from the shelves for good? Will Baldoni's evidence rewrite the narrative, or will the noise drown it out? One thing is certain, the stakes go beyond soda. This is a high-stakes showdown touching Hollywood, retail, and consumer trust. And right now, the drama is only heating up.
Were not for women giving me direct feedback in my own personal life and being a man.
I was one of two people, maybe, and then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious.
Right.
Either you got
Blake Lively's legal team is holding their ground, and they're making it clear they won't be intimidated, not even by Disney's massive backing of Justin Baldoni. Their position is simple. The courtroom is about facts, not power plays. For them, the case comes down to one decisive element: authenticity. If Lively can demonstrate that her documents are legitimate and her version of the production process checks out under scrutiny, then even Disney's elite legal squad won't be able to shield Baldoni. Legal commentators say it all boils down to a single question: which set of records will the court believe? If Lively's files pass forensic examination, the accusations of tampering could backfire spectacularly on Baldoni, forcing him into a defensive posture. But if Baldoni's originals hold up instead, then the narrative flips, and Lively risks an irreversible collapse of credibility. And just when the situation seemed to hit peak complexity, another figure entered the spotlight: Baldoni's wife. Until recently, she had stayed silent, but her new remarks could reshape the entire conversation. She shared her own memories from the early days of production, and her account directly challenges Lively's. According to her, Lively wasn't pressured or reluctant at all. Instead, she was reportedly energized, excited about the comedic elements, the daring costumes, and the chance to experiment creatively. The suggestion is damning. Lively only shifted her position after public backlash erupted online, framing her objections less as artistic principle and more as image control. That testimony could carry real weight. By adding first-hand insights, Baldoni's wife may have given his side of the case a crucial advantage, one that paints Lively's actions as reactionary rather than rooted in genuine creative concerns. Meanwhile, talk of a settlement hangs heavy over the proceedings. Disney's legal team has a reputation for resolving disputes swiftly and discreetly, often steering cases toward outcomes that favor their side while keeping damaging details sealed from public view. Baldoni could be encouraged to take such a path. But whether Lively would agree is far less certain. For her, this may no longer be about business, it's about defending her integrity. If she's confident her documents can withstand forensic testing, she may prefer a public trial that clears her name over a private deal that leaves questions unanswered. If the case does advance to trial, the temperature will rise dramatically. Digital forensics experts would comb through emails, message logs, and production files, scrutinizing everything from metadata and timestamps to version histories. Even casual exchanges from the set could be dissected for signs of manipulation. The spectacle wouldn't just be legal, it would be cultural, exposing the inner battles of Hollywood's creative process while placing reputations on the line in full public view. For Justin Baldoni, the risk and reward are enormous. If he proves that evidence against him was doctored, he won't just defend himself, he could emerge with his reputation elevated, seen as a resilient figure who resisted a calculated attack. But if the ruling goes the other way, the consequences could be just as severe, casting a long shadow over his credibility. Point one way or another, the truth is hurtling toward daylight. And once it's revealed, there will be no way for either side to rewind the clock.
People and humanity are inherently good. And they crave nutritious food.
And he said, yes. So then every day on set, I was like, is today a comedy or is it a thriller?
It's a good mix
and
of
it's
both.
like, yeah, it's like really kind of over the top and campy and
A
trash.
courtroom win could completely redefine Justin Baldoni's career. Beyond his reputation as a director, it could establish him as a trusted creative partner, someone studios and authors look to when authenticity and integrity matter most. That kind of recognition would open doors to projects perfectly aligned with his mission of telling meaningful stories. But the stakes cut both ways. If his allegations of planted evidence collapse under forensic testing, the damage could stretch far beyond this single dispute. Insiders caution that failure would raise doubts about whether he exaggerated or even invented his claims to deflect criticism. In an industry where trust is currency, that kind of stain could follow him for years. For Blake Lively, the risk is equally staggering. Should she be directly linked to falsified evidence, the fallout would be catastrophic. A resume filled with beloved roles and a carefully cultivated public image wouldn't be enough to soften the blow. Within Hollywood, tampering with evidence is seen as crossing a line that many would consider unforgivable. But if she proves her records are legitimate and Baldoni's accusations amount to nothing more than spin, the power dynamic flips instantly. In that version of events, Lively wouldn't just clear her name, she'd re-emerge as a figure of resilience, a woman willing to stand against attempts to discredit her. This isn't just another Hollywood lawsuit about contracts or money. What makes it explosive is the intersection of creative control, public perception, and the sanctity of a source material adored by millions. Fans of It Ends With Us now find themselves watching the drama with a complicated mix of fascination and disappointment. Instead of celebrating a heartfelt adaptation of Colleen Hoover's novel, they're asking whether the film will ever escape the shadow of behind-the-scenes conflict and legal warfare. The book's themes, healing, love, and emotional honesty, were meant to inspire. Instead, they're competing with headlines about tampered files, clashing egos, and questions of truth. The uncertainty is electrifying. Will Baldoni's claims of planted evidence survive forensic scrutiny? Or will timestamps, metadata, and sworn testimony expose them as flimsy? In today's digital world, a single piece of verified data or a lone credible witness can rewrite the entire narrative overnight. A stray text message, an overlooked screenshot, or one corroborated statement could become the turning point that defines careers. Already, the legal storm has reshaped what It Ends With Us represents. What began as a tender book-to-film journey has morphed into a high-stakes battleground for Hollywood's power dynamics, thrusting both stars into the harshest spotlight of their careers. Beyond the personal clash, the case raises broader questions. How will the industry navigate creative disputes when social media outrage and digital forensics can dictate reputations in real time? The cloud of controversy is heavy, and it looms over every stage of production. True or not, the allegations of falsified evidence have cast a shadow that's impossible to ignore. Instead of anticipation, there's anxiety. Instead of celebration, there's skepticism. As depositions near, the film carries not just the weight of its story, but the burden of a public eager for answers. The clock is ticking, the fans are restless, and Hollywood is holding its breath. Will the adaptation stay true to Hoover's vision, or will its legacy be forever bound to scandal? For now, the world waits for the next revelation in a drama that feels more cinematic than the movie itself.